I recently learned that there are over 31 million people in the US living alone. 31 million. It's almost double in many countries across Europe and Asia. Yet, we don't really talk about it, do we? Living alone is often framed as either lonely or luxurious. But what about the in-between? The part where you're building a life quietly, without witnesses? Behind every front door, there's a different story. Some of us are thriving. Some of us are rebuilding. Some of us are figuring it out day by day. No matter where you are in the journey, one thing's true. Living alone means learning how to show up for yourself, not just when life is exciting, but in the slow, ordinary moments too. Because some days can feel like freedom. Other days can feel like silence that's just a little too loud. While every experience is different, living alone can teach you a lot about the kind of care you actually need. Not the Instagram version of self-care, but the quiet, real life kind. Today, I want to share a few simple things that have helped me create real, grounding rituals. Small things that keep life feeling meaningful, even when it's quiet. You don't have to invent some complicated morning routine. Honestly, start with something you already love. If your morning coffee feels like a little ceremony, then protect it like one. No phone, no multitasking, just a few quiet minutes with your mug, where nothing is expected of you except being awake and present. It's not about the coffee. It's about giving yourself the kind of attention you usually save for everyone else. If your evening walk resets your whole mood, protect that time like it matters, because it does. Rituals don't need to be complicated or perfect. They just need to ground you, to remind you where your peace lives and how to return to it. At the start of each new season, take a few minutes to set one gentle intention. Not a giant goal, just a feeling or direction you want to lean into. Spring could be about renewal, giving yourself permission to start again without needing to justify the reset. Summer might invite expansion, opening the windows, saying yes more often, letting yourself be seen. Fall is a natural cue to slow down, to soften your pace, to reflect, to let go of what's no longer needed. In winter? Winter asks for rest, the deep kind, the unapologetic kind, the kind that says you don't need to be productive to be worthy. It's a way of staying in dialogue with your own life and honoring that you are growing and changing right alongside the world around you, because the truth is you are, even in the quiet, even when it doesn't look like progress. Once a week, choose a small way to add beauty to your space or your life, even if no one else sees it. Maybe it's fresh flowers from the market or a few cuttings from your own balcony. Maybe it's reorganizing one small corner, the bedside table, the kitchen drawer you always avoid, the stack of books that's been quietly bothering you. Maybe it's putting clean sheets on your bed and lighting a candle at night just because it makes you breathe easier. These little acts of care aren't about impressing anyone or chasing perfection. They're about telling yourself, this space matters because I live here, and I matter because I am in it. The act of making your environment a little more beautiful reminds you that you're worthy of beauty every day, not just on special occasions, not just when someone else might see it. Beauty, when chosen deliberately, becomes its own kind of self-respect. Even when you live alone, life can start to fill up with noise, texts, news, emails, endless scrolling. There's always something tugging at your attention, some alert or distraction waiting to pull you out of your own head. That's why carving out a set hour or two each week, or even each day, just for yourself, is one of the kindest things you can do. No answering emails, no social media, no guilt, just you, doing whatever restores you. Reading a book slowly, not to finish it, but to enjoy it. Taking a long bubble bath and letting time slip away without checking the clock. Listening to music without multitasking, just letting the sound fill the room. Sitting outside and watching the sky change, noticing how the light shifts quietly when you're still enough to see it. Your do not disturb time doesn't have to look a certain way. It doesn't have to be productive or aesthetic or impressive. It just has to feel like coming home to yourself. A return to your own rhythm, your own breath, your own peace. And in a world that constantly demands your attention, that kind of stillness is not a luxury. It's a form of self-preservation. Living alone doesn't mean living isolated. There's a whole world unfolding just outside your front door. And sometimes the best way to reconnect with it isn't through deep conversations or big plans, but through presence. Find small ways to plug into the life happening around you, especially through celebrations. Visit the local farmers market and linger by the flower stand. Wander through an art fair and let something beautiful catch your eye. Show up at a seasonal festival, a community concert, or even a small neighborhood event you'd normally skip. You don't have to stay long. You don't have to know anyone. You just have to show up, open to the sounds, the color, the energy of people coming together to celebrate something. Music, food, culture, light. These moments may seem small, but they have a way of softening the edges of solitude. They fill you up in ways you don't even realize until afterward, when you're walking home or sipping tea later that night, and you suddenly feel a little more connected, a little more seen by the world, even if just quietly. It's a quiet reminder. You are part of something bigger, even on the days when you feel most alone. Sometimes, community is not about who you know, but about allowing yourself to be near joy, laughter, and human connection, even if you're just passing through. Every day, I try to build in just one real check-in with myself. Not a checklist, not a productivity thing, just a moment of honest attention. Some days, it's stretching by the window with my coffee, letting the light hit my face before the world starts asking anything of me. Some days, it's scribbling a messy gratitude list on the back of a receipt or whatever scrap of paper is nearby. Not curated, not filtered, just real. It's not about the format. It's about the moment, the pause, the breath between what I have to do and who I actually am. It's my way of saying, I see you, I'm proud of you. We're still in this. And sometimes that one small act of acknowledgement is enough to shift everything, to soften the edges of a hard day, to bring you back to yourself, to remind you that even in the quiet, you matter. And in that moment, you remember you're still showing up, even when no one else sees it. Somewhere along the way, we were taught to believe that a moment only matters if someone else sees it. But that's not true. So if you're living alone, by choice or by circumstance, just know this. When no one's watching, it's easy to forget you're still worth the effort. Just because no one's clapping doesn't mean you aren't doing something brave. Just because no one's watching doesn't mean your effort is wasted. Every time you show up for yourself in the smallest, quietest ways, every time you make a beautiful meal for yourself, every time you show up to a doctor's appointment, every time you pull yourself outside for a walk you didn't feel like taking, you are writing a quiet love story to your own life. You are proving that your own eyes are enough. You are proving over and over that your existence doesn't need an audience to matter. Keep showing up, even when no one's watching, especially when no one's watching.